guys, and welcome back to the Cassie Project. So this week we are going to be doing another episode from the wonderful Create This Book 3. This book was written by Mariah Elizabeth and it's the third one out of the series. But not only that, I also wanted to do a bit of a thrift store makeover. You might see in the background there is this lovely little frame. I picked this up from a thrift store for like 50p and I've wanted to paint a picture in it for ages, and I've finally been given some inspiration, so we're going to do a bit of a combination of them both. In fact, let me go grab it. Now, as you can see, this frame is massive, it's huge, so I don't actually have a decent piece of paper to put in there. So we're going to do a bit of a make do. I have got a bunch of this craft paper and it's not very good quality, and it's the only thing that is big enough to fit in this frame without me having to buy something else. Let's hope that it holds up. So what inspired me was a prompt in my Create This Book 3, and it is create a tree house. Now I thought what would be perfect, because this frame is so tall and long, I thought I could draw the trunk of a tree to fill that space. And then I thought, because we're having this treehouse theme, I thought I could literally have the house within the trunk of the tree. I've got these little shapes cut out of the tree so you can see these individual rooms, and we've even got a room sat beneath the tree and it's going to be lit up by little fairy lights. We've got a little kitchen above that, and then we've got a bedroom and we've got this lovely hanging light there, and we've got the little ladder coming up from the side to enable these creatures to get to the different rooms. I thought we've got to have a little bathroom at the top and a cute little reading nook. Once again, I'm using my Ohuhu fine liners to do all of the line work. I used different size nibs all over this drawing. So the main outline of the tree was using a 1.0, and then I moved on to a 0.7 for the main artwork. And then I went even smaller and used my 0.5 and my 0.3 to add in all those bits of detail. And I think that that just gives it that more realistic look to it, instead of using one nib for all of it. As I was drawing out this tree house, I started coming up with little stories in my head and imagining little animals and creatures in each of the rooms. So even though I'd finished all the line work, I couldn't help myself. I had to add in these cute little animals and creatures. But it's okay, because I'm going to use acrylic gouache, which will cover all up that line work underneath. We're going to start off with these cute little bunnies that are sat underground. Papa Bunny is having a little snooze in the chair, so the little bub decides that he wants to take a little adventure and go have a look at the other families in the different rooms. Inside the kitchen, we have got the little fox family. Mama Fox is cooking some soup on the hob, and the little baby fox is just watching in admiration. Now moving up to the bedroom, the reason why the fox is making some soup is because we've got a poorly little raccoon. It's currently having a little nap in the bed to try and recover. You know me, I had to add some frogs into the picture. And where would you have frogs? Of course, in the bathtub, splashing around in the water. And then finally, we've got a little owl in the reading nook, absorbing all that knowledge. Now I'm going to go in with the acrylic gouache. And I wanted to start off with the animals, because I needed to cover up that line work to make sure none of that will be peeking through. So I knew I'd probably need a couple of layers on those. Now you may be wondering, why would there be so many different types of animals living in the same house? Are there going to be problems occurring there? You know, with like the food chain. I thought of a reason. I thought of a way around it. So this is a hostel treehouse. So this is a place where you can stay, but of course you need to share this house with lots of other animals. It's not just created for one type of animal. So part of the rules, you have to sign a little waiver when you go into this hostel that you will not eat any other types of animals, that you must refrain from eating other animals, and the foxes can't chase the bunnies and the owl can't eat the frogs. So yeah, this is a very friendly hostel, and if you need a place to stay, it's there, but you do have to share it with other types of animals, and that's just part of it. That's just what you've got to do if you need a place to stay. And obviously it's much cheaper than it would be anywhere else, just as hostels are. So yeah, there's pros and cons to staying in this treehouse. Does that clear up any queries? I hope so. I decided to add these gorgeous little wild flowers at the base of the tree, and I'm using my Artex markers to draw that in. And to add all the details in these different rooms, I've watered down that acrylic gouache, so it's almost like a watercolour. So we've got that line work still coming through, but I am going to go over the line work after that just to make it all stand out. I've kind of stuck to a kind of colour palette with this painting, and I've gone for lots of warm colours. We've got lots of browns and oranges, but then I've also used the blues from the sky as well, because I thought that that gave a lovely contrasting colour between the foxes and the blue of the kitchen. And I continue to use those colours throughout the piece, which I really like because we've got that lovely warmth coming through, but then the vibrancy of the blue as well. You may be wondering how this painting works within my Create This Book 3, because obviously this is a Create This Book 3 episode. Now, I wanted to create this as a larger painting because I want to be able to put it in the frame, but I am going to move this on to my computer so I can print out a smaller version, and then I'm going to stick that in my Create This Book 3. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone with this, because it's a painting that I've wanted to do for ages, but I'm able to fill in a piece of my book as well with a painting that I'm really proud of. And obviously I wouldn't usually spend days upon days working on just one prompt in my Create This Book, so it was really nice to be able to stick something in my Create This Book that I was so proud of. The painting is too narrow in comparison to the 2-page spread, so I come up with an idea, something a little bit different. I continue the painting across the A4 page, but then I've also added some filters on there. So I've used the bokeh lights, which creates these circles, and then I've put the text going across the full part of the page, and I think it just makes it so much more cohesive and works much better on that 2-page spread. I printed the tree house on a brochure type paper, so it's a double-sided glossy photo paper, but it's quite thin as well, so it sticks in this book really nicely, and of course has this lovely glossy finish, which I think works really well. I am so proud of this picture. I absolutely adore it. Stick around till the end because we are going to put the actual painting in that thrifted frame. Now, because I spent so much time on this painting and I absolutely love it, I'm really hoping that you guys love it as well. So I've decided to put prints in my shop. So they are now available on my website at thecassieprojects.co.uk. Not only that, I've also created gorgeous little bookmarks. They've got the painting on the front and then a cute little design on the back. I just love them. I hope you guys are going to love them as well. But anyway, let's move on to the next prompt. Create clouds, and this prompt says look out your window and draw the clouds that you see. But before we do anything, we need to add a layer of gesso onto this double page because we've got some bleed through from the previous page. So we've got these leaves coming through. So I've added a nice thick layer of gesso to these 2 pages, and I'm going to let that dry. It was so frustrating because it didn't work. Gesso usually covers everything. What the heck is going on here? Why do their leaves look even more prominent? So I'm going to try some green acrylic paint because I thought that that might cover up the leaves because it's green. And I let that dry and they're still there. How are they still there? So I'm going to use pink acrylic paint because I thought maybe that contrast would work. But as you can see, it's still bleeding through. So after painstakingly doing another 3 layers, I did a black layer and I did 2 more pink layers. We still have a tiny bit of bleed through. So I decided to just ignore it and go in with the painting and just hope that it wouldn't come through when I used the acrylic gouache. I'm not gonna lie, it actually ended up being a bit of a happy accident because I had this underpainting of pink, which I really love because I love it when that pink kind of just peeks through and it gives this lovely warmth to the page. So I'm really happy that I ended up with a pink background after all, because I was just gonna work on a white background. Now I grabbed a reference picture and I just loosely followed it. I kind of just tried to look at the shapes of the clouds, tried to see the shapes of the grey beneath the clouds, and I think that it worked really well. And then when I added this lovely blue sky and left those little pink bits around the clouds, and the clouds just popped out, and I just love it. When you see that blue and that pink together, it just gives this lovely contrast piece to it. And I tried to mix lots of different blues together, so the sky wasn't just one block colour, it had loads of different texture to it. We've got the dark blues and the light blues coming through. But of course, I'm not gonna stop there. We need it to be more interesting than just clouds. This is where we're gonna get the laminator involved. Because I want to use any opportunity to use my laminator. So I'm drawing out these little wild flowers, and we are going to have these stuck onto this page. This is going to be like the foreground, whereas the clouds and the sky is the background. I'm going to colour them in using my Artex markers with these lovely bright pink and orange colours to just get us excited for spring. Are you guys ready for spring now? I am. Oh my goodness, I don't want any more cold weather. I'm done with it. I just want to see the warmth. We've had a few days where the sun has come out, and oh, it just inspires you to get creative. It makes you want to do things, and it motivates you. You want to get in the garden, you want to get outside. And it's funny, I always say autumn is my favourite season, but I do really love spring. After painstakingly cutting out all these flowers, man, that was hard, I pop them in a little laminated sheet, and we're using the laminator. It's so exciting. Anyone else love laminators? I think it's just that obsession from school when you saw a teacher use a laminator. Just made it so much more special. But anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to put this laminated sheet over the top of this cloud page. So I'm using this little pokey device, and I've actually warmed it up using a lighter, which just allowed me to neatly push holes into that plastic. And then I'm pushing holes into the centre of this page because I wanted it to be attached in the middle, and I just couldn't think of any other way of attaching it other than sewing it. So that's what I did. I used this slightly thicker thread and used a thick needle to push it through, and it worked amazingly. I guess this is just like bookbinding, but a more simple version, because I'm just attaching that one sheet there. I love it. I think it worked really well, and I've popped the prompt back in there, create clouds. And there you go, here is my finished page. I think it is so much more interactive and interesting than just doing a painting of clouds. I really like how it turned out, and you know me, I love any excuse to use my laminator. Now for the really exciting part. I've just wanted to do this for such a long time, fill this thrifted frame with a gorgeous painting, and we have got the painting, so let's put it in. Now obviously I've thrifted this frame, so it's a little bit dirty, a little bit old, so I gave it a good clean up, and I've stuck the painting in there. And now it's time to reveal the Woodland Tree House. So that's going to look super fun for all my intros now. You'll get to see this lovely painting sat behind me, which is so exciting. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the prompts that I did in my Create This Book through, but also the gigantic painting that I've done. I think the biggest painting that I've ever done. I'm so proud of myself for it, and I'm just so happy that I've been able to finish my backdrop for my videos. It brings me so much joy. Don't forget that the Woodland Tree House print is available on my website, and the bookmarks too. Do carry on watching some more videos over here. I will pop in a binge-worthy playlist for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.